For me, you need no introduction, but let's assume nobody knows you. What is your connection with Boston? How long have you been here? And pretty much what is your connection with this city?
Interesting. So I have been in Boston, oh man, I don't even know, over 30 years. Healing Our Land has been in existence for about 26 years, so at least 35 years in Boston. What brought me to Boston is I was homeless, honestly, when I first came to Boston. And Healing Our Land, the ministry that God has birthed through me over time, has been what's anchored me here. I serve an associate pastor at Global Ministries Christian Church in Dorchester, as you know. I'm the assistant manager for Boston Praise Radio and TV Network, right in our community. So I live and thrive and serve here in the heart of Dorchester.
So, I mean, you have really, over the past couple years, really got deep into reentry, really got deep into voters' rights specifically, and that is kind of umbrella to this other work where I believe you visit all the county jails in Boston?
I do.
All right, so can you explain, like, because Healing Our Land, you were really community-based, you were supporting a ministry, and then you shifted to reentry, and it's like, now it's like evolved. So what are the relationships specifically, because knowing you, what are the relationships like with that work that made you stay there? Because I've noticed you've worked all over in many different fields, but somehow when you got into that prison, the AACC, so how did that start? And then how did it evolve to now, like this is really what you're doing most of the time?
Sure, yeah. So Healing Our Land was birthed in 1998 out of a response to the issue of HIV and AIDS as it disproportionately impacted Black and brown and poor people. And it's not an abstract for my life as I was diagnosed and needing support in my own healing journey. And so, and what I needed didn't exist. So God had me to help birth it, being Healing Our Land. And so what we were intentional in ministry to the underserved, the marginalized, the high-risk communities for HIV. That was really my entree to incarceral settings. Because it was a population that I knew was being infected, and quite candidly was even infecting people within community, right? Whatever the reasons, nonetheless, I knew it was an intentional population that I had to learn and engage and to try to do prevention and intervention. And so that was my entree to the incarceral settings, specifically Suffolk County House of Correction. I went to speak at recovery in my own journey, and I spoke talking about my own recovery journey. So that was my entree. Initially was actually just speaking in the recovery unit. From that, I learned that people who were incarcerated actually could vote. I didn't know that. And it was a chaplain who actually told me that. And once I learned that, I became focused on educating people within incarceral settings, because I found out so many people did not know that, who were in community or behind the wall, that you can vote. If you're incarcerated and you're waiting pre-trial or you're serving a misdemeanor, you could vote. In fact, you could vote even serving a felony conviction up until 2000. I did not know that.
Wow.
Right? And if you're in community, you can vote regardless of your record. If you have a felony on your record, you're on probation or parole, once you served your time,
right,
you're in community in Massachusetts, you can vote. So once I learned that, that became focused on being able to educate people about that. But not only educate people about that, but also to be able to put the infrastructure in place in the Suffolk County that we had entree to via Sheriff Tompkins and the Nashua County Jail, to be able to institutionalize doing education, bringing in the absentee ballot application forms, the registration forms, bringing in the candidates, doing civic education, really kind of building the infrastructure to exercise the right while we are educating you. You have the right, and how to do that intelligently. So that's one piece of the stuff that we do.
So I had to actually ask you a question about that, because I find that very fascinating, right?
Sure.
So like, there's this whole entire population of individuals who don't know they can vote but can vote.
Yeah.
Do you know what the actual percentages, and do you know if that percentage of individuals actually affect elections that maybe in fact possibly affect how they are treated while they're incarcerated or while they're kind of moving around in and out of the system?
Wow. Okay. So so the notion of the statistics of how many and all that kind of stuff, no, right? Because this is really work that we're doing in the Suffolk County, right? And we're doing it really kind of volunteer. We just got a grant to do some of the work that we're doing to restore the rights for people serving felony convictions across the entire state. And that's just one of the things that we do. We also do a lot of reentry work, as he said, helping people to navigate reentering back into society. So we're just kind of putting those structures in place and getting the metrics in terms of who's eligible. We know there are 7,700 people who are eligible to vote who are incarcerated in Massachusetts who are serving felony convictions. That we do know, right? So we're trying to restore that right? Simultaneously be able to maintain the right for those who already have it, really building a robust model in the Suffolk County. What we can tell you is in the Suffolk County, I think it's like capacity maybe 400 people at both institutions. Both of those populations are down, right? So we know they're closing in carceral settings because crime is down, violence is down. And that has a lot to do with the people who've been directly impacted, grassroots organizations who are now having impact within community. I wouldn't even say that it's certainly not police, no disrespect, but it's really not, right? Like they get taking a lot of credit for saying, the lowest rates of crime in the city of Boston for any big city, but the politicians really can't take credit for that. It's the people in the community, most of the people who are directly impacted, who are really doing impact and coming out and doing organizations, the grassroots organizations that are addressing that. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It partially answers my question, but I think in fairness, it sounds like you're not in a position yet, or rather organizations are in a position yet to have that data ready.
No, they're not.
And that's totally fine. But I think it's important to highlight the fact that that community is the ones, or that they're the ones really bringing the work. It's not the police, it's not the politicians.
No.
But and I apologize for being naive about this. No. Someone who lives up in the suburbs, but is the community stepping in because police and politicians have failed, and now they're just starting to recognize, maybe we should have put the community in a position to be first to address all these issues.
I mean, those are good questions. I mean, I think that always that the people have to, put people in position, elect people. That's why we have to be civically engaged. That's why we push that, to get people who are going to advocate for policies and programs and so forth that are going to address we have the power. It's us. And unfortunately, it's interesting you ask the question about the eligibility and the participation, because quite candidly, the participation of people who are not incarcerated is dismal in terms of being civically engaged. It's deplorable. I mean, this election we had here in the city of Boston, most recent municipal election, 35% of the let me back up. 19% of the population who's registered to vote was actually able to even cast a ballot in the primary for the mayor of the city of Boston, which is why Josh Kraft pulled out and Domingo DeRosa ultimately couldn't advance. And she had no competition post the primary because it was only 19% of people who were registered who even said, I'm going to bother to cast a ballot. These are people who are on the outside. I would submit our metrics are much better than people who are now being educated and who are participating, because once they know that they can, and once they know that it's connected to helping them to actually restore the rights of people serving felony convictions, they're like, register me, people who've never voted in their life.
Right.
So this population, in contrast to people who are free, who just, for whatever reasons, maybe you bothered to register, but not even to cast a ballot.
So I got one question final question I want to ask you. Where you find yourself in the work, if you were to talk to another church or a younger ministry, what would be your word? Do you think more churches and more people that are from that church background should be thinking about helping prisons and prisons?
Oh, that's a resounding yes. I mean, I think it's exclusively incumbent upon as a mandate for the church. And don't get me started now, because I'm a preacher, right? But it said, when I was in prison, you didn't visit me. When I was hungry, you didn't feed me.
Right.
So the truth of the matter, it's unequivocally exclusively going to be the believers, right, who do the right thing as we've done historically, right, which is to minister to the underserved, the marginalized, disenfranchised, and create. I think COVID and where we are now, Bible prophecy is coming to fulfillment, and the church is going to have to shift from what they're doing. With gentrification, churches are being shut down. People are homeless, right? So the church is going to do much more restorative justice kinds of practices that's beyond just religion and superficial in churches. And, having services and concerts and revivals and those, the church culture has got to go deeper to really being able to respond to practical needs of people, housing, right? Reentry.
Right.
spiritual transformation.
Right. So we just want to thank you. If people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way to get in contact with
The
you?
best way is www.healingourland.org or 617-435-2066.
Yes, and make sure you tune in. Your signal can be heard from the prison. Right?
Yes.
In some prisons?
Yes, 102.9 FM.
Right.
However, that platform only airs from 2 in the morning till 9 in the morning, Monday through Saturday, and Sunday 2 in the morning till 6 p.m. WBPG-LP are the call letters, 102.9 FM, Boston's only FCC licensed, black-owned, multimedia platform that simulcasts, that's church-based.
And can we just put a little respect on the visionary
Certainly.
who kind of thought about this all? Yeah.
Certainly, my spiritual father in the person of the great, I call him Bishop, Reverend Dr. Bruce Wall, who's a pastor of Global Ministries Christian Church and the founder of Boston Praise Radio and TV Network.
So thank you, Pastor Bruce Wall, Bishop Bruce Wall.
Bless you.
Thank you, brother. I look forward to seeing you. And Chick, where you at? That's what he was saying, right? Cat, Chick.
Yeah, Chick, where you at?
Where you at? All right, thank you so much.
My pleasure, brother.